Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into the current political situation in South Korea, a country known for its vibrant culture and technological advancements. Usually, South Korea stands as a strong example of democracy in East Asia, but right now it's facing a really tough time with unprecedented political turmoil. President Yoon Suk-Yeol, who people once had a lot of hope for, is in the middle of a big scandal that has shaken the nation to its core. This scandal is causing a lot of problems across the country, leading to widespread protests and public outcry. People are upset, and no one knows what will happen next. The uncertainty is palpable, and the atmosphere is tense. President Yoon made big promises when he started, pledging to bring about significant reforms and improvements, but things haven't gone well. People are saying he's done bad things, like abusing his power and being too harsh on people who disagree with him. These allegations have only fueled the fire. Now, people don't trust him anymore. The trust that once existed between the government and the people has been severely damaged. Something that no one ever thought would happen is now a real possibility: the potential removal of President Yoon from office. President Yoon could be removed from office and even arrested. This would be a historic event in South Korea's political landscape. This whole mess didn't just happen overnight. It's the result of long-standing issues that have been simmering for years. South Korea has had problems for a long time, like rich people getting richer while others struggle, and disagreements about how the country should be run. These issues have created a deep divide in society. All of these problems were like a pile of dry leaves just waiting for a spark, and that spark has now ignited a firestorm of political unrest. That spark happened on December 3, 2024, when President Yoon did something that surprised everyone. He declared martial law. This drastic measure has only added fuel to the fire, leaving the future of South Korea hanging in the balance. December 3, 2024, is a date that will be remembered in South Korea forever. It was a cold winter night, and the streets of Seoul were bustling with life, unaware of the impending announcement that would change everything. That night, a scary announcement came over the radio and TV. The usual programs were interrupted, and an emergency broadcast took over the airwaves, sending chills down the spines of everyone listening. President Yoon appeared on the screen, looking grave and serious. He said there were threats to the country's safety, and that his enemies were trying to overthrow him. His voice was firm, but the message was alarming. So, he declared martial law. Everyone was shocked. The news spread like wildfire, and people gathered in the streets talking anxiously about what this meant for their future. Tanks started driving through the streets of Seoul, and soldiers with serious faces stood guard at important buildings. The sight of military vehicles and armed soldiers was both surreal and terrifying for the citizens. Even the National Assembly, the place where South Korea's laws are made, was surrounded by soldiers, and the people inside couldn't leave. Lawmakers looked distressed, unsure of what would happen next. President Yoon's reasons for doing this didn't sound very convincing. His stern expression did little to reassure the public, who were left in a state of disbelief and confusion. He said there were groups trying to get rid of his government, but most people didn't believe him. The skepticism was palpable, and many took to the streets to voice their doubts and concerns. His opponents said he was just trying to stay in power and stop people from criticizing him. They held rallies, speaking out against what they saw as a blatant power grab. The whole country felt like it was about to fall apart. The atmosphere was tense and the future seemed uncertain. People were distressed and worried, unsure of what the next day would bring. Declaring martial law was a big mistake for President Yoon. Instead of scaring people, it made them even angrier. People all over the country, rich and poor, young and old, were furious about what they saw as a power grab. On December 14th, just 11 days after martial law was declared, the National Assembly did something huge. They voted to impeach President Yoon. Almost everyone voted against him, showing just how serious the situation was. But the problems didn't stop there. The new acting president, Han Duck-soo, was also in trouble. People thought he had helped President Yoon, so they wanted him out too. On December 26th, he was also impeached. It felt like the whole government was falling apart. With two presidents impeached, things got even crazier. On December 28th, something shocking happened. An arrest warrant was issued for former President Yoon. He was accused of all sorts of bad things like abusing his power, trying to overthrow the government, and stopping the legal process. This had never happened before in South Korea, Seeing a president who was once so powerful now facing arrest showed everyone that even the highest-ranking people can be held accountable. The man in charge of the investigation, Oh Dong-woon, was known for being honest and tough. He said he would arrest President Yoon before January 6th, even if it meant going after him directly. Now, everyone is waiting to see what the Constitutional Court will do. The atmosphere is tense, and the stakes couldn't be higher. People from all walks of life have gathered outside the court, holding signs and chanting slogans. The entire nation is glued to their screens, waiting for any updates. This moment is a pivotal point in South Korea's history. This court has 9 judges, and they have to decide if it was legal to impeach President Yoon. Each judge brings their own perspective and legal expertise to the table, making this a complex and multifaceted decision. The National Assembly's role in this process has also been scrutinized, adding another layer of complexity. Their decision is super important for the future of South Korea. It will not only affect the political landscape but also the social fabric of the country. People are discussing the implications everywhere, from cafes to online forums. The air is thick with anticipation and uncertainty. They have 6 months to decide, and everyone is watching closely. The ticking clock adds to the pressure as each day brings new developments and speculations. Calendars are marked, and countdowns have begun. The suspense is palpable, and the nation is collectively holding its breath. Even the court has been affected by all the chaos. The justices are under immense pressure, and the atmosphere inside the court is just as charged as it is outside. Protests and public opinion have made their way into the courtroom, influencing the proceedings in subtle but significant ways. There are 2 new judges, and they've never dealt with a case this big before. Their inexperience adds another layer of uncertainty to the proceedings. They are under the microscope, and their every move is being analyzed and critiqued by both the public and their peers. Plus, there's still one empty spot on the court, so no one is sure what will happen. This vacancy complicates the decision-making process, as the remaining judges have to work harder to reach a consensus. The uncertainty is palpable, and it adds to the already high stakes of this monumental decision. If the court agrees that President Yoon should be impeached, there will be new elections, and South Korea can start to fix things. This could be a turning point, offering a chance for renewal and reform. The political landscape could shift dramatically, paving the way for new leadership and new policies. But if the court says the impeachment was wrong, things could get much worse. The public's trust in the judicial system could be eroded, leading to widespread disillusionment and anger. Protests could escalate, and the already fragile social fabric could be torn apart. The country is already divided, and this could lead to even more unrest and problems. The decision will either heal or further divide the nation. The stakes are incredibly high, and the world is watching to see how South Korea navigates this critical juncture in its history. What's happening in South Korea isn't just because of recent events, it's the result of many years of difficult times. South Korea has a history of tough rulers, fights for democracy, and fast economic changes. All of this has shaped the country. President Yoon's actions remind people of the bad old days when South Korea wasn't a democracy. The fact that there's an arrest warrant for a former president is a big deal. It shows that no one is above the law, which is important for a country that has had problems with corruption in the past. As we start 2025, South Korea is at a turning point. No one knows what will happen next. The court's decision, what the military does, and what the people of South Korea want, will all be important. The whole world is watching to see what happens in this young democracy. What happens next is incredibly important, not just for South Korea but for other countries in the area too. The people of South Korea are known for being strong and believing in democracy. They have some important decisions to make. What they do in the next few weeks and months will decide if their country becomes stronger, or if it falls back into the bad old days.